Angela, I wanted to start with you first. There's such a haunting quality to this film as it explores grief, motherhood, and caregiving. And you go in expecting to be spooked, but by the end of it, you're in tears. Why did you feel horror was the right canvas to tell such an emotionally resonant story? And how did you find that perfect balance of tone?
Mm. I mean, I think what's so amazing and effective about horror as a tool is you can use it to access those heightened emotions that are like really close to grief or really close to catharsis, but not quite
Mm,
there, so that you can like sneak attack in an issue, sneak attack in a moral without feeling like it's being hammered over the head or like this film is too heavy to even get through. Like I kind of wanted to sneak a intergenerational love story in under the guise of horror. So yeah, that's why. And I the balance was really, really tricky. Our editor, Dashiell Reinhardt, was really brilliant in helping me find where that line was. And then our score by Stephen Limba, our sound designer, Brian Parker, just like really helped us figure out how much do we need to know when do we need to tip the
yeah.
scales. And it was such a team effort.
This is definitely one of those films you want to go back and watch again to pick up on all those little subtle details. And Katie, you got to see Harper evolve from the very beginning. How did witnessing the development shape your own process and understanding of her? And how did the trust that Angela placed in you allow you to take ownership once that final script was done?
Um, I mean, Angela was extremely collaborative and so trusting in me, where I felt like any idea I had, she was like, yes, do that. I was lucky and that I got to be a part of Angela's process as she
Yeah.
was writing. She shared with me different ideas and drafts. And so I had a pretty good idea of what we were trying to capture, like what the goals of each day were on set.
Mm,
Um, in terms of my process, I find creativity and the creative process so mysterious that you can do kind of like the groundwork of like mapping out your script, mapping out your emotional journey, coming to set every day with ideas. But then when action is called, there is kind of like
yeah.
something's going to happen or not happen. And I it's hard to talk about process because it feels so nuanced for each character, and almost like in the way I imagine childbirth is for people, where they like
Mm.
forget how how it all happened, but they have the baby. I feel that way after every movie. I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not sure how that happened. But I want to do it again. No matter how like at times hard it can
Yeah.
be infuriating and frustrating, and because so much of it is like surrendering to like what it is
Hmm.
on the day, you know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that answers your question, but
No, absolutely. Your performance in this is incredible. And I also think it ties back to both of your shared backgrounds in theater where you do all that prep work, but then it's about living in that moment. And Angela, you touched upon this already, but this film is such a testament to that collaboration and every element from the production design to the lighting to the costumes to the performances. They feel so intentional. How did that collaboration influence the evolution of the story from page to screen? And were there any discoveries that you made along the way from everybody's contributions?
Yeah, I am someone for better or for worse who wants and takes a lot of notes. I'm not, and correct me if maybe I have a wrong self-image, but I don't think I'm someone who's like, this is how I see it and that's how it's going to be. It's, coming from theater, I like to work, I like a group project, like
Mm,
my goal is to always be surrounded by people who are better at things than I am so that I can be learning from them while we're like creating something together. And so I learned from everyone I worked with. I think my favorite moment of like, oh, Katie knows this character better than I do is remember we had this like big body horror moment that got cut. You were supposed to like rip your skin open and
yeah.
and you turned to me and you said she would not do that. She doesn't do this in here. She's not violent in this space. And I was like,
Oh
you're
mm.
yeah.
you're right. She's not. That doesn't happen. And so we just cut it and did something, like I and like that was so exciting for me because it's like, Yeah, I want everyone to know more than me.
It's not that. It's just filmmaking is so collaborative. And
Yeah.
I feel like in entertainment, like the director and the actors get a lot of attention because they're kind of like the face or like the personality of the film. But you've got 100 people of underbelly who made the movie happen. And those are the heroes of the film that
Yeah.
don't always get the spotlight when I don't know. I think about that every single time. I'm working on a film right now, and I don't have any conception of like what's happening really through the lens, but the crew does.
Mm,
So I always go to the
yeah.
crew. Is that landing? Like, how did that feel for you? You know, because they're watching the movie, and making it too.
As an audience member, you feel that trust between everybody that's involved in this. And then, Katie, we were talking about this earlier, but it's so interesting because so much of what you do as an actor is feeding off your scene partner. But there's so many moments in this film where your character is alone and navigating such a wide range of emotions. And there's such a grounded, lived in quality in those scenes and in your performance. As an actor, how do you create that space to explore that vulnerability? I know part of your creative process involves building playlists for your characters. How did the songs vary based on where Harper was emotionally throughout the film?
Hmm. How did you know that?
I did a ton of research before.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my God. Yes, I do make playlists. I'm like quite a cerebral, sensitive, kind of like irritable, internal person. That's a part of my personality. And I think like post-pandemic, we've all spent so much time with ourselves that being kind of in that place, like being right here, um, I think is something I was like comfortable with. That definitely like lended to the character of Harper. And I think like a lot of women worry about losing their minds with like the
Mm,
history of like hysteria for women, even though they just were like maybe in menopause or their hormonal structure, sorry, I can't speak right now, was like out of whack. I think that's always a fear I carry of like, am I seeing things clearly? Is it wrong to be experiencing this emotion? So
mm,
to be able to be on set and to feel very safe with Angela, and Mark, her husband, who was also our great producer, who has coached me before. He's an actor also. To be on set with those people who are like, just go for it, was freeing, really freeing for the process.